supposed to be taking care of their husbands. Women are not as strong, possibly emotionally, to deal with the different things that will happen in a church, and people could abuse them or be rude to them, and so some of those arguments. I mean, is it not possible that maybe women are not as strong in leadership as possibly men were in terms of dealing with people coming at them with adverse things that might hurt them? Either one of you.
Well, the important thing is to know what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Be at the right place at the right time and doing the right thing. If the woman has the call to minister, then that's her call and she's prepared to do that. And like my father used to tell me, nobody can do the job that you're called to do. Mm-hmm. They may do their job, but they won't do your job. Mm-hmm. So my president of my college used to say, ladies, what you want to do now may not be possible. The door may be closed, but you go ahead and prepare. And when you're prepared, that door will be opened. Mm. And as far as women ministering, think of the woman who met Jesus at the well. Mm. And he said, how many husbands do you have? And she said, 5. He said, you're right. 5, and the one you're living with now is not yours. So that was 6. But she met Jesus, the 7th one, the perfect number, and he said, go get the community. Mm. Now, if that woman had not obeyed, there's a whole community waiting for a man to come in. Mm. Women can't sit by, just sit by. Not when they've met the man who says you can go.
Mm. Wow. Wow. Beautiful. Anything else?
And yes, men may say that the women or the woman is the weaker sex. Mm. But when you really look at it throughout history, throughout slavery, throughout our African culture and countries, the woman has always been the strong, dominant force behind the family, the leader, the inspirationer, the one who has the gift of sensitivity, of love, of Christianity to keep that family together. And that's why that child always goes to that mother, because the mother is the one, she's the glue that holds that family together. And God, who's all-knowing, all-powerful, and omnipotent, God could have used any means he saw fit to bring about salvation, but he chose to go through a woman. He chose to go through Mary. And so God, in his infinite wisdom, knew the capacity, the love, and what a woman could bring, not to be the authority figure, but to be the supporter. And yes, women were submissive. They were submissive, they took care of their families, but they weren't that educated, but they were the driving force behind the family.
Beautiful. Our director often makes this comment, and I'm sure you've seen it too, especially in the black church. If all the women left, you could close the doors. There would be no way to keep the lights on, because we fill the churches and we are the stronger ones. And I love to see women ministers, and have seen them on very many occasions make null and void the fears, because when they're leading the church, they're leaders, and when they go home to their husbands, they're the wife. Right. And they give him, you're the head of the house, and they give him the honor, and and then they get out and they're the leaders. And so it's absolutely amazing and wonderful to see us do this. We're going to go on to another issue for women, I guess women in the ministry, and as you minister and you deal with the spiritual, how important is it for you to deal with the social needs of the people in your church?
You can't divide them. I think it might be in Matthew where Jesus said, when I was in prison, you came to see me. When I was hungry, you fed me. And when I was naked, you clothed me. And he's looking at how we treat our fellow man. We may be judged on that thing, is how we treat our fellow man. So it is important to look at the social part of it, because how else can we lead somebody to Jesus and show them a Jesus who won't help them when they have a need. But we have to meet them at the point of their need. That's what Jesus did with all these other situations. He met the people where they were. He didn't try to tear them down and run them away and you're no good. He met them where they were, and then he pulled them up. And that's what we have to do.
And I totally agree with her, because they do go hand in hand. You have to meet the needs before you begin to minister. If a person comes up to you and says they're hungry, you can't say that I'll pray for you, and then that individual is still hungry. Jesus fed the multitude before he began to minister. You can minister to an individual once you have met their physical need, and I believe that they go hand in hand. And Jesus was compassionate, and Jesus met the physical need, he met the spiritual need, he met the emotional need, and so they go hand in hand.
And I see that you deal with a lot of social issues. Just for a second, because of course our time is flying by. Talk about the prison fellowship and the ministry that you have with prisoners.
I'm an assistant chaplain at DC Jail, and I'm also part of an organization called CSOSO, Court Services and Offenders Supervision Agency, which ministers to ex-offenders, and that's where I say Jesus meets the need. And as a mentor, I believe that I go the extra 9 yards, because as a mentor with the association, they talk with the individual, maybe provide jobs. But in my situation, I've had ex-offenders and homeless people live in my home. And to me, that's meeting their needs. I'm showing them that regardless of who you are, where you came from, I love you because you're a child of God. And God is going to look at you no less than what he looks at me. It's what I do that's important.
Now, and you had your doctoral thesis on healing in the church. So do you believe in the laying on of hands?
I believe that Jesus can heal any